Hey everybody, Mark from Rams Up here. I'm probably the last one to chime in on the Rams 2023 schedule, and as you'll find out here in a second, I'm a little more hopeful than a lot of others, and I'm going to walk through this schedule, some highlights of it, and basically going to show you why I think the Rams do have a path to the playoffs, and what you see in front of you is the schedule. You'll find out in a second why I have it broken out into little groups like that. That's kind of how I like to attack the schedule. Block it off and see how the Rams can do in after segmenting it into these little groups. Black is away games, red is home games. The Monday Night Football game against the Bengals called out there, as well as the game against the Saints. So how do I think this schedule is going to go? Well, let's look at those first three games. At the Seahawks, the 49ers, and at the Bengals. I think the Rams are 5.5-point underdogs at Seattle. Then they get the Niners at home, which is probably going to be their best chance to beat the 49ers. Who knows who their quarterback's going to be? It's going to be Christian McCaffrey for all we know. And then that road game against the Bengals on Monday night. Three tough games, but let's not overstate how good the Seahawks are. Last year, I was one telling you they're going to be better than a lot of people think. This year, I think they're going to be a little worse than people think. People really overreacting to the Seahawks. The Rams lost twice to the Seahawks last year after kind of dominating them for a pretty good stretch. Maybe not dominating, but doing pretty well against the Seahawks during that Russell Wilson era. And then last year, the Rams lose two games by a total of 7 points with John Wolford and Baker Mayfield at quarterback. So the Rams can beat the Seahawks, and yes, the Rams can beat the Seahawks on opening day. The Seahawks will not have a book on the Rams defense, that's for sure. So what am I hoping for in these first three games? Hey, let's hope the Rams can win one. Come out of this block 1-3. Find a way to win one of these games, and I think they're fully capable of winning any one of these games. These people that just write off the Rams, write off any NFL team as if they have no shot at winning 1 out of 3 games against 3 really strong opponents. You don't understand the NFL if you're just writing down to 0-3 for the Rams at this point. Rams come out of this 1-2, and then this next group, this is a chance for the Rams to get a couple wins for sure at Indianapolis. Then the Eagles, Cardinals, and Steelers all at home. Now the Eagles and Steelers will have a large group of fans at those home games, but that's okay. Rams have embraced that. The Rams have figured that out. The one downer about this Steelers game, the Steelers will be coming off a bye, and as has been noted on Twitter, the Rams have 4 games where they're facing teams coming off a bye, but I think the Rams can win that game regardless, and I think they'll beat the Cardinals, and they could possibly beat the Colts, but let's go conservative. Actually, I'd expect them to beat the Colts, and if they go 1-2, they'll probably be favored in that game. So let's say they go 2-2, though. They win 2 of these games. They beat the Colts and the Cardinals, and that's being conservative still, I think. They could pull an upset, if you want to call that an upset, over the Steelers. Okay, I don't think the Steelers are, they're a good football team, but they can be beaten. But let's say the Rams go 2-2 in that group, come out of that 3-4, and then what do we have after that? 2 games on the road, the Cowboys and the Packers, and the Cowboys also coming off a bye. Rams really got screwed in this regard. But hey, the Packers with Jordan Love, it's going to be early November as opposed to December in Green Bay. Rams find a way to win one of these games. That's not unreasonable, right? Win one of those 2, and then they go into their bye week with a 4-5 record. And then they have the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Browns. And guess what? The Rams and Seahawks are both coming off byes. Make sure I got that right. And if that's the case, no, I'm sorry, not the Seahawks. The Seahawks are not coming off a bye, but the Rams are. And this is where the Rams can get rich. 3-0 against these 3 teams, Seahawks, at Cardinals, and Browns. If this team is just okay, pretty good, which I think they very well could be with Matthew Stafford and this offensive line healthy again, Cooper Kupp back. They could sweep these 3 games. Very well could. They've had the Cardinals number for the most part. Cardinals are rebuilding. So yeah, I'm hoping for a sweep of the Cardinals if they win this game here too. So they go 3-0 in this group. Seahawks and Browns at home and at the Cardinals, and they come out of that 7-5. And where do they go from there? Now they got at the Ravens, the Commanders, and the Saints. And I'm getting a little greedy here. They're probably going to lose this Ravens game. This is back-to-back games, by the way, the Ravens and the Commanders. 2 more teams coming off of buys. I don't know what the NFL was thinking, but it is what it is. At least the Commanders game is at home. The Ravens, they're probably going to lose that game. They have not played well against the Ravens over the years. If Lamar Jackson is healthy, that's going to be a big challenge. But let's say they beat the Commanders and the Saints on Thursday night. Saints are always a tough team, especially defensively. They'll have Carr there at quarterback this year. Rams win 2 of those, and they come out 9-6. And some of these blocks I'm being conservative, and others I'm being a little greedy, but they come out 9-6. And then, of course, they have those last 2 games, the Giants and the 49ers, both on the road. 49ers on the road, the Rams have not fared well up north. They're probably going to lose that game, but I think they can beat the Giants. Let's hope they can. Hey, I'm not making predictions here. I'm showing you, trying to give you some hope here. There is a path for the Rams to get to the playoffs. I've seen other people picking the Rams to go 9-8, 8-9, and that's fine. I get that. That's a reasonable prediction, but if they overachieve a little bit, they could be a playoff team, right? Especially, well, you got to look at these other teams' schedules too. 9-8, 9-8 could be good enough for the playoffs. 10-7 definitely will be. You know how it always ends up at the end of the year. 10-7 is definitely a playoff team. And one thing I want to say about the Rams' schedule, when they, especially this early part of the season, at the Seahawks, playing the 49ers with who knows who's going to be playing quarterback for them. I think the Rams are going to try to. I think the Rams are going to try to pound the ball a lot. I think their offensive line is going to be rock solid this year, especially in the run game. Joseph Noteboom's the left tackle, and they are going to pound the rock with Cam Akers and Zach Evans. Try to control the clock a little bit. Keep this young defense off the field as long as they can. And I think they have the people to do it. I really think they do. So look for that early in the year. And the Rams sneak out with a couple wins early on, a win in those early 3 games, and then they come out 3-4. Maybe by then teams are starting to figure them out. But at the same time, by then our defense maybe has started to hit stride. A couple of these rookies have started to emerge and really contributing on a weekly basis. And that's where I have it. That's what I'm riding with, 9-8. But I'm going with 10-7. 9-8 is very likely as well. 10-7 will get us into the playoffs. Just need the Rams to steal a win somewhere and win the games they're supposed to win, and the Rams will be a playoff team once again. And if not, things are going to look really bright for 2024. That's all I got here. I'll be back with a podcast in a couple of days, and we'll revisit this once again. I'll rehack these numbers, talk through this one more time, see if it makes sense. Thanks a lot. Out here from Rams Up.